Oh, taking devastating fire there, and here comes the canister. Ooh, knocking down companies of men as it goes. Or 17th Mississippi. Just absolutely laying down men. But the Armistead charges in. The reserve's gonna form back and get rid of it. Ooh, a devastating point blank volley from the 27th Indiana, 38th Virginia. They held that volley on purpose. Were able to get a good volley off of them, but they may not hold against that. 5th Corps is suffering very bad here. Vincent's tried to wheel his men down like a door, but is getting cupped by the 53rd Virginia over there. So what is up, guys, and welcome back to yet again another Visualize History and Lore video. Guys, we have something very special today. I have a 4v4 for you, but not only a 4v4. This is on the new unreleased test version of the next version of ACW. This is 1.7 of the hardcore submod, produced by myself and my good friend Hunter over on the Discord. We have a Discord battle for you today, guys. Hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but tens of thousands of men on the field, and not are they just volunteer infantry, not are they just generic Confederate general fighting generic Union general. What we did for this version and what makes it so special is we took the makeup of the Army of the Potomac and the Army of Northern Virginia for 1863 based off the Battle of Gettysburg, and we recreated the armies one for one in Napoleon Total War. That means if there was a battery of 6-gun 10-pounders that the Union had at Gettysburg, you are allowed to bring it in this mod. If there was a brigade, say Candy's brigade, sounds like a stripper, I don't know who he is, sounds like a good guy, leading an Ohio brigade. This is the 5th Ohio under Candy's brigade. Not only is this the 5th Ohio, where did you get the number 302 from, Cold Front? These are the 1-to-1 numbers. There is no representation, not only in how many troops you can bring from each army, it is all 1-to-1. Now, some units you'll see, you might see some discrepancies, like, oh, that unit actually had 500 men at Gettysburg, not 250. What we did to specifically keep some of the troop numbers low was if the unit was advertently big. Now, the average regiment at Gettysburg is about 300 some men, like this one here, 280, 302, you saw the other one. But some of them are overtly big, like say 400 men. We don't want big, one huge size clunky troops unit running on the field. So what we did was, instead of bringing one unit of say 400 men of the 7th Ohio, you would bring 2 units of 200 men. And that's how we got around some of the overtly big units, like say the 26th North Carolina that had 800 men, which is, you know, an anomaly. It's a 1%. So in order to avoid those things, that's what we did. So if you see some discrepancies, that's why we did that. But guys, this is 1-for-1. This is my unit. This is my corps over here on the far right of the Union advance. This is the 4th United States Battery under my command, under Lieutenant Sylvanus T. Rugg. It's a 6-gun 12-pounder battery that actually existed, that was actually at Gettysburg, and we can bring everything here. There's no representation. This is the most accurate simulation of Civil War and the representation of their size and scale of any mod, any game ever. And that's a bold claim, but it's true to the fact. We followed straight from the order of battles and straight from the muster rolls, and here we are, guys. So let me go ahead and introduce to you the battle and what we got going on here for you today. So over here on the far right, you have your boy Cold Front leading the 12th Corps. My general is Henry W. Slocum, Major General Henry Slocum. You have the 5th Corps here being led by a good friend, Pro Noob. I already got some skirmishers right, and Pro Noob, who has a Colonel William Tilton leading his corps for the moment. In the center here, we have the 11th Corps, some known as the German Polish Corps, and that is, where is he at? Oh, here he is, nope, that's 3rd Corps. Here he is, being led by Major General Howard. Then on the far left here, coming up this road, we have the 3rd Corps, Sickles Corps, being led by, who is it? Carr, a Brigadier General Joseph B. Carr. Here we have formed a grand battery on the center point here. We play off of location of control, or as we might call it, LOC. Whoever has the most points on the battlefield by the end of the game wins the battle, no matter how many losses you took or how many enemies you killed. You need to control the field to win the battle. And so here on this point, oh, clicked away from that. We have formed the Grand Battery, including some of my batteries here, the Pennsylvania Light Battery E under Lieutenant Charles Atwell. And we have other batteries here. If I named everything off for you guys, it'd be crazy, but we're already taking a few losses here from the Confederate counter battery. It looks like it's coming from Pender's division under Hardaway, Alabama. Alabama Artillery, and the 2nd Rockbridge, Virginia 3-inch battery. Now introduce the Confederate forces, and we are coming in very fast and hot. My corps is meeting the lead elements of what looks to be, let me see here, what looks to be McClaw's division under Oakwood on the Discord. We have Pickett's division under a good friend Dark Chieftain on the Discord. In the center of the Union Army, we have Pender's division being led by Orr's Rifle, and we have also the Heath's division, and we have some Archer Brigade units there being led by Tat, and these are all good friends on the Discord. If you want to play this advanced version of the soon-to-be released 1.7 mod, that is exclusive to Discord, and you'll need to come over there, and that's incentive to not only like and subscribe, but stay tuned for all this crazy stuff you never knew existed or never knew you could have. And another incentive to go over onto the Discord. This is where games are organized. This mod is active and alive. Come over there on Discord to enjoy all these 4v4s with us. Looks like we have some 12-pounder howitzers from the Brooks, South Carolina under Flickling on limbering here, and a 2-gun of Troop Georgia under Carlton. Those are all 12-pounder howitzers. It looks like Armistead's brigade is leading the charge here, very appropriate. And for McClaw's division, it looks like you have Kershaw's brigade leading the charge for them, followed by Barksdale's in the back. My leading brigade is the Candy Brigade, 1-to-1 size. Here we go. Every unit that was in the Candy Brigade you see here today. This is how it was in real life. This is how many men were in each one of these units in real life. And it looks like my 29th Pennsylvania skirmishers, yes, even the skirmishers have assigned regiments and companies and brigades. This is as realistic as we can get it, guys. They're forming up the frontward defense, making the line for my infantry to come into position, and we are coming in hot. I'm trying to secure this wood line before the Confederacy can get in there. I'm not sure how successful or unsuccessful I'm going to be at this moment in time, and 5th Corps is following up my right flank hard. Now, we meant to counterattack on their right flank, but unbeknownst to us, they meant to counterattack on their left flank. So both of our head attacks ended up leading each other, and it's about to lead into one of the biggest melee point-blank battles I've ever seen in my life. I'm very excited to show it off with you guys today. So it looks like the opening shots of the battle here is being led off by 3rd South Carolina under Lieutenant Colonel David Langston. Is he still alive? He is still alive right there. And then we have the 15th South Carolina under Kershaw. Followed behind them we have some Seams Brigade, some Georgians and Mississippians. My Ohio boys are forming strong. They got there first, but reinforcements are coming strong in the way of McDougal's brigade, Ruger's brigade, and I think that's it. I think I have Ruger. Yep, I have Ruger's brigade, I have Candy's brigade, and McDougal's brigade. Ooh, some direct shots coming in here, just barely missing the front lines, but they're holding strong. The 137th New York skirmishing coming in, getting a little bit torn up here on the front lines, but they are holding strong. You see here that Pennsylvania company got slaughtered here earlier, but it looks like the 17th Mississippi, and here they come to the front line. Barksdale coming in hot boy. And over here we have Garnett leading the screen for Armistead's brigade to come in. 5th Corps was able to secure these wood lines and have the 1st Pennsylvania Rifles under McCandless in the front. It looks like some of Armistead's brigades under 53rd Virginia, Aylett, are going to go ahead and route early, do some sustained casualties, but we have Owens here of Armistead's brigade getting ready with 309 men, already taking a few casualties, but they are being shot in support by the, is that the 2nd 53rd Virginia? Yeah, so see, here's an example. So this unit would have been 436 men, but we divided it in two, and that's an example of where we did that. That's why there's 2 of them there. So it's coming point to point blank range here, and Lieutenant Colonel Ario Pardee Jr. is holding strong here. He's still alive. The flag bearer is already gone. The flag bearer is already gone. I think he's already dead. Their commander is dead. Yes, there he lays. Ario Pardee. Nope, there he is. Sorry. He's soon to be dead though. Here, spoilers alert. It looks like I have some men over here running. They're taking heavy casualties by Garnett's Virginians. The 7th Ohio is going to go ahead and rout, and they're going to be replaced by the 2nd Massachusetts under Ruger's brigade. And those howitzers are starting to do some damage. But I do have some Napoleons here under Rug, Sylvanus Rug, that are going to be supporting. We have managed to rout a few of their men, the 53rd Georgia and the 13th Mississippi, along with the 17th Mississippi. But shots are being traded here, and I'm already about to lose a unit over here. The Armistead Brigade, in true fashion, is charging into my 28th Pennsylvania and the Kennedy Brigade, and the 38th Virginia will come out victorious in that one. But forming a defense line right behind them is the 13th New Jersey under Carmen and Ruger's brigade, and they're going to be ready to form up. We have Weed's brigade over here with their beautiful Zouave uniforms. And this is not stopping. 20th Maine Vincent also trying to hold back the Garnett onslaught, and it's not turning out well. Over here on the right flank, things are getting bloody, but we are going 1 for 1, and it's starting to take a toll on the Confederates. The skirmisher company that was up front here decided to give it back to them and try and steal the colors. But the third South Carolina on the Rice were able to hold their colors. Oh no! Ooh. My Major General Slocum almost got hit there, losing 2 of his staff, and may rout off the field due to the fact that he's lost quite a bit of his staff, and he himself is hurt. 5th Corps did push out a little bit the counterattack here on his left flank under Burbank's brigade, official 11th United States troops, but they are routing under the pressure of these Virginians under Armistead and this inflated fire from Scales under Pender's division. Looks like the 13th Pennsylvania is going off Thomas brigades, 49th Georgia, but they are supported by some batteries here. The 5th United States Battery I and the 5th United States Battery D. I do have some men routing on the far flank here. I believe these Napoleons are going to be limbering up here very soon. I'm going to give it back to him. Slocum did rout off the field. I think he will come back. He just did come back. And although 5th Corps is taking some damage, he's going to rush his general to support where they are charging there. Over here on the left flank, we have been able to secure these front lines. A few skirmisher companies were able to get the shoot at our guns, but our cav was able to drive them off, not without sustaining some casualties. And it looks like Heath's brigade is about to come, Heath's division, excuse me, is about to come into contact with 3rd Corps. It looks like we'll have Brockenborough's brigade going off against Higgins, Higgins under Ward's brigade here, 86 in New York. Corps is forming up in the center. It's a formidable attack against that hill, but his Perrin's brigade is getting ready to make the charge. Forget the dog going off in the background. It looks like we got another charge going off here. It looks like we got the 2nd Massachusetts, that Ruger brigade that came in, got charged by the Barksdales Mississippians. And looks like they're holding strong due to the support of 5th Corps General being here. And but they won't hold on for long. That Napoleon has opened up some devastating canister over here that has pushed back some of Barksdale's men. They're going to try and attack it, but the gun batteries are supported by McDougal's reserve brigade there. They're going to try and run into position, but who knows? It looks like there's going to be suffering some pretty bad casualties here due to round ball and canister. I'm going to stay watch. We're going to keep a watch on this. You can just look how close this point blank fire. We got the 107th New York Ruger's brigade going face to face against the 7th South Carolina Kershaw's. Oh, taking devastating fire there, and here comes the canister. Ooh, knocking down companies of men as it goes. Or 17th Mississippi. Just absolutely laying down men as they come through this bloody wheat field over here. No, it doesn't look like wheat, almost look like tall grass. Oof. And they will rat off the field just due to us being so close to this edge of the map. Even though these units would have originally have rallied since the nature of being next to the edge of the map, they are routing off the field. Looks like the 27th Indiana under Ruger's reserve brigade is taking some sustained casualties in this point-blank battle. And it looks like the Armistead's, right as the reserve comes up, the Armistead charges in. The reserve's going to form back and get ready. Ooh, a devastating point-blank volley from the 27th Indiana and the 38th Virginia. They held that volley on purpose. They're able to get a good volley off of them, but they may not hold against that. 5th Corps is suffering very bad here. Vincent's tried to wheel his men down like a door, but is getting cupped by the 53rd Virginia over there. So you don't always wheel them down like a door with Chamberlain. Not always. And it looks like 5th Corps' batteries are unsupported here, and it looks like the first batteries of the day will fall to Thomas's Georgians here. And the 45th Georgia. They are closely supported by the 6th Pennsylvania under Int and McCandless brigades, but they have to fall back due to overwhelming support. And it looks like 11th Corps is going to try to rush some reserves to the right to form against that oncoming attack. Yep, there goes that 27th Indiana. Although they held well, the Armistead brigade was able to rout them. Not doing damage back to back, and ruthlessly 7th Ohio unleashes into the routed 27th Indiana, which, how many men do they have left? 20. Oh my gosh, they are at upwards of almost 80%, 90ish% casualties at that point. Here comes Armistead's brigade trying to break through here, and the lines are confused. That Vincent brigade that tried to wheel like a door is coming back into it, and it's going to try to reform on the left. This 46th New York Weed brigade. But 9th Virginia Armistead going in for the charge. Will he break through? And they brace. Ooh, and they hit hard. Looks like Chamberlain has lost his colors on this unit. I believe, yep, Chamberlain himself has been wounded. Nope, right here he is. Yep, right there Chamberlain is. Will he be wounded? He'll die on this one. If I'm not mistaken, he took a bullet through the line in the Petersburg campaign. And it's said because of those complications where he ended up dying. The artillery just raining in here. And Vincent so far holding strong, regardless of the fact, and note, Vincent will break. Vincent will break under the pressure. Although he has the second leading companies that he split up from his regiment coming in to try and support the breakthrough. And it looks like Weed's brigade have been able to hold, and the 16th Michigan under strong Vincent's brigade is coming in to replace Weed's brigade right there. But over here on the far left of 5th Corps, it is not turning out as well. They are getting a significant breakthrough, and those 11th Corps units that came over are severely being damaged. And it looks like, again, Thomas's brigade, who took those guns, is going to be doing a lot of this driving here today. I'm sure they'll get a monument somewhere around there in the distant future. Those initial regiments under Ward and I believe the Scales, Pettigrew has replaced the Scales unit, I believe, under the 11th North Carolina, and they are ripping through these guys here on the flank. But the ground is in 3rd Corps' favor, so that may turn out differently. Over here on the far right, it looks like I have counterattack with McDougal's reserve brigade onto the 3rd South Carolina Kershaw's and the Woforth brigade that rallied. But it looks like they have lost their officer, so Lieutenant Colonel William G. Rice has been wounded on the field this day, 1863. But Lieutenant Colonel Luther J. Glenn under Woforth Brigade, Combs, Georgia Legion, is holding strong, but that Napoleon fire is going to drive them back. Yeah, they've just suffered too many casualties, they have well over 50% casualties there. Another thing we did was we manipulated the morale to try and support accurate casualty rates, based off of Gettysburg in several different battles. But it looks like we've been able to stabilize the center here. It looks like we have Beaufort himself leading the charge in with it, and behind here is the rallied and dismounted Slocum. Now I'll dismount my Slocum here because the overhead fire could cause him to knock off his horse like earlier. But if he's standing below the men will absorb the fire and keep him safe, while still being able to keep him close to the line to support morale. And we are full breakthrough here in the center. 11th Corps is rallying some of his initially broken men, and 5th Corps is trying to refuse the flank in a fishhook with McCandless brigade. But that Thomas 49th in Georgia is not letting up. And there's the rest of Thomas Brigades and Lane's brigade coming through. Looks like I got another route over here. Garnett, no, that's Kershaw, the second leading element of the 3rd South Carolina has come through. I have some Union early war cab that's actually leading through the break here. Some of the rallied 7th South Carolinians, I have not noticed it. And I'm going to try and take some guns here. So this will be the first Confederate guns taken today by Union cavalry here. That'll be the Troop Georgia 12-pounder howitzers. Beautiful. McDougal is going to be the one that breaks into the backfield and try to disrupt this now falling apart Confederate attack. Slocum has been able to rally what's left of his men and form some sort of defense. And the initial attack under Pickett's division has completely broken in a mass rout on this wood line. They were just not able to sustain open field fire against a wood line here. Nobody can blame them. Dart Chieftain there had a tough job against that wood line. Looks like some artillery has been able to rout the first units from Penders under the 22nd North Carolina, but they are doing significant damage to 11th Corps here under Ames and the 107th Ohio. Our artillery position up there is just absolutely ridiculous. It's just absolute fire superiority. It looks like we have General Howard personally coming to the scene to make sure that 107th Ohio does not break. Good plan here by Unsub to try and defend this hill, but defending an open hill is never easy. So it looks like we are being able to manipulate some sort of a route, and it looks like the rest of Garnett's and Pickett's division is going to do a tactical retreat out of these woods to ensure the survival of the rest of the troops. Ground can always be retaken, but dead men cannot, so never be afraid to run your men out there. Most people lose in this game because they want to stick their men in one spot and let them die there. Don't be afraid to let them come back and rally and then go re-attack. That's how you have to do these things, guys. It looks like that early war cav is, oh my god, losing at least 25% of the, over 25, that was at least 40% of their company there just died at canister fire from the Fauquier, Virginia under Captain Robert M. Stribling. Those were Napoleon batteries. You see, that's all from those volleys right there. They held their volleys until they were close. So the guns that were initially taken, looks like all these 12-pounders were taken by that cavalry, have been relieved and are in no man's land. It looks like McDougal's will be able to regain them, but Brooks South Carolinians are trying to regain their guns. Maybe to maybe support the tactical retreat from Pickett's division, although this unsupported battery here is going to be taking a lot of damage. They're going to try and load some canister. You see they're losing men slowly, but oof. Oh my gosh, McDougal's brigade holding strong there. They're not letting it go. Oh, was that it? Is that it? Nope, almost. Nope. Yep, that the officer's down. So Colonel Warren W. Packer just got mortally wounded to canister fire from this Virginia battery. The colors hold strong. It looks like that might be their last shot. So with their last shot, their colonel goes down. Was it a colonel? Yeah, Colonel Warren Packer. And it is gone. So some of the reformed, so it looks like the 18th Virginia and the 57th Virginia under Magruder there are forming a rear guard action for their division to retreat up that road that they initially came down. And it looks like the 145th New York under McDougal will retreat from that until they receive support, just due to overwhelming fire from Pickett's division. The rest of 5th Corps is now shifting back to try and deal with the breakthrough over here, and it looks like Pender's division will relieve that breakthrough due to the fact that he has two fronts going on here. However, his second front is doing immensely well, and they're breaking through our center. 11th Corps Howard is having to retreat his men, and it looks like still a stalemate over here. It looks like Graham, so that, yep, it looks like both units have been replaced here, and you see just the amount of carnage. Nobody wants to give up this ground. They keep replacing with reserves and letting men die, and that's just that's a civil war for you. One regiment goes down, another one fills a gap, and they die where they died, you know. Looks like, unbeknownst to me, the Fauquier Virginia battery rallied back to their one saved gun, and they may be able to get a shot off on me. They're gonna get another shot. The shot that took down Warren Packer. They're gonna get another shot off. All their batteries have been destroyed or rendered useless. But they got one good gun left, and here it goes. Are they gonna get it? That rear guard action is now starting to retreat with the rest of the main body. It looks like they were able to route through that. Ooh, it looks like they missed with round shot. Yep, and a huge volley comes out from the 5th Connecticut there. Revenge for their colonel. But the battery's holding strong somehow. Let's see if they can get another shot off. Nope, they will retreat the battery. One shot was enough for them. They're not going to lose all their crew. And more guns will fall to the Union today. The 18th Virginia, that was part of that rear guard along with the Magruder Brigade, is now going to shift up this road to support this now isolated part of Pender's division here, being counterattacked by 5th Corps. And it looks like the 14th Georgia under Thomas Brigade is going to try and take this seemingly untakeable ground from Smith's Brigade here under the 73rd Ohio and the 33rd Massachusetts under the Colonel Underwood. Actually, a little bit of friendly fire coming in there over top of this 25th Ohio and the Ames Brigade, but they are doing some significant damages to 18th North Carolina. That is a thick boy unit, and they are still fresh. This is a strong position for the 1st United States sharpshooters under Berdan. Yeah, it looks like they're going to be holding pretty strong. Yeah, they're going to be harassing pretty strong from there. If I were this player, I would have moved up into this wood line and gotten some point-blank shots, but I think he's going to try and use the wood line against them. Wood lines are very important, guys. Hypothetically, in a situation like this, oh, looks like the Grand Brigade is about to break, and the 11th North Carolina, the 2nd Battalion of the 11th North Carolina, is about to rout, but they're going to retreat and reform, seeing how their left flank fell apart. Anyways, going to wood. So an open, hypothetically, if these two units here open volley on each other in an open field like this, say hypothetically again, wow, artillery coming in, 3 units both die out of that volley. However, say for example this unit was in the woods against this unit in the open field, same thing, they open a volley. However, since this unit would be in the woods, hypothetically only 1 out of those 3 would die, while still 3 men out of this died. So theoretically, no hypothetical, theoretically, but it is true, you could hold woods against almost a 3 times bigger force than you have. Alright, so the remnants of 12th Corps, which is not a lot here, it's going to try and come up to form to the right of what's left of the 20th Maine under Colonel Joshua Chamberlain, who was wounded earlier in the battlefield back over here in the woods. And it looks like my 107th New York will actually form to the hinge of the Weed Brigade here, who's still holding strong. They've been holding strong for a long time. They haven't lost too many men. They've been really good fighters this game. The 107th New York under Ruger, and the 13th New Jersey, who we saw earlier, those reserve Ruger brigades there in the woods against Armistead, will be again coming up against some of the Armisteads and Garnets here on this hill, who are reforming to Pender's division's right. Although we were able to catch them just in time before they can completely connect and attack 5th Corps here enfiladed, but they still have a good ground here, and they have the initiative against me coming up. And don't underestimate Virginians. The Union did that several times during the war, and they paid for it dearly. 5th Connecticut forming my extreme right here. They're running tired into the fray, but they need to get up there fast to support this line. Although I'm commanding Union, I do not play like Union General, where I commit troops piecemeal. I commit them all at once, or not at all. So that's why I had to suffocate, yeah, might as well. I had to fatigue these guys to tire just to get them up in time. As you see, it's paying off a little bit. I may be able to route that 13th Mississippi under Barksdale's there, and maybe good volleys on that 3rd South Carolina Kershaw's. I'm doing some damage back to them, as you see. Don't underestimate Virginians. Although I was able to just barely stop this connection. I was not able to exploit the stop, and they're definitely doing damage right back to me. That initial 20th Maine is coming back to fill that spot. I have Slocum right behind them, remounted on his horses now that his brigade is mobile. I do have 1 reserve of Candy's brigade, not a whole lot of Candy's left. They routed off the field pretty early due to them being the first ones into that melee fiasco. I do have some Candy's brigade coming up. Now to point out Pender's division under Horde's rifle here against Unsub, I told you this open field battle is crazy hard to defend. Unsub tried to extend to help with him splitting the army in two, which we did have a breakthrough in the center there. Unsub is getting beat back pretty heavily. That 12-pounder howitzer, the 4th United States Company F, under Lieutenant Colonel, who is this? Lieutenant Colonel Rug, is actually shifted down here. His orders would have shifted into the position to support the attack, but the orders came a few hours earlier when the positions were earlier up here. So he is still following orders, but these orders are now old or outdated, and that leaves him without infantry support. But he's going to try and hold this position here against the 14th Georgia and the Thomas. As you can see, they're already losing some of their batteries just to sustain musketry fire. They are doing a lot of damage back, but again, this looks like these guns are going to end up falling actually to more Thomas Brigade. These men are falling very fast under these veterans' fire. So the initial attacks up here on this hill were successful on the right, very poor on the left. 5th has had to refuse its flank a little bit, but Slocum is not a weakling. He's going to consistently, if he's falling back somewhere, he's attacking somewhere else. And this is me, I'm not trying to praise myself, but that is the thing I'm trying to teach people to do. And even though I was falling back there, I was pushing here. So always push, always keep pushing them somewhere, keep the pressure on them. And that's what I'm attempting to do here. I have the 66th Ohio trying to secure this peach orchard that does act like wood lines. And I told you how valuable wood lines were earlier. So although I am segregating him a little bit, I need to protect him. But they're going to try and stop me. This is a good move. The only move you can do in this situation, since he does not have the men to secure this peach orchard, he's going to countercharge to stop me, seeing that I was weak. It may not come through just due to the fact that that unit is at 50% casualties, under 50% at this point. And I was able to win there, and that spells about the end for this reserve division here, or this rallied division. So they were just barely able to connect, but weren't able to exploit it, and I was just barely in time to stop the exploitation of that connection between these two divisions. But I suffered heavily for it. As you can see, I lost the 66th Ohio there, but I have that 5th Connecticut coming up, and Slocum is still in the action, holding strong. We do have some batteries here in our rear that's going to cause some trouble with the 1st North Carolina Company A/1st Richmond, Virginia 12-pounder batteries, mixed batteries, and the Bedford, Virginia under Jordan here, 3 inches. They're going to be wreaking havoc in our rear that I'm going to have to take care of. And again, Orr doing really good. This is a bad position he had to attack, but he is doing monumentously well. And Heath can only do what he can because he is now stretched out to try and support Orr. So Orr can shift more men down to this breakthrough here, which we are still technically split in half. And it looks like my 4th United States suffered almost 50% casualties trying to hold these guns, and it looks like they've lost all of their guns except for two to again this 14th Georgia Thomas Brigade. 11th is really trying to rally, but it just feels like every time they rally they get broken again. Who's this here? 107th Ohio earlier, who we saw rallied personally by Howard. Howard. Was it Carr? Howard? Hobart? It was Howard. I'm almost certain it was Howard. Yep, it was Howard, who looks like when he was personally around them took some damage and he retreated to the rear here to tend to his general staff's wounds. But it looks like Heath is starting to feel the pressure being stretched out, and you have the 26th North Carolina here, who again had about 800 and change, so that's why you see this many men, and you can actually bring 3 units to this, I believe. And General Archer, who was the highest ranking general captured during the war, was captured at Gettysburg and is a Marylander. He ended up returning for the Pittsburgh campaign and surrendered with the army at Appomattox. So those batteries I warned that might be causing the trouble actually shifted up to here. These 3-inch batteries, the Hampton, Virginia and Richmond, Virginia mixed batteries. I am able to shoot them off considering they do not have infantry support. Batteries are useless without infantry support. That's what you see here, so I'll be able to take some more guns for the day. And it looks like Pender's division is full retreat out of those woods, seeing how Pickett's division reserve or rallied line broke under the weight of 12th Corps coming up. And 14th Georgia will actually break under the flank personally held by Howard himself. He rallied this flank personally to try and push back this 14th Georgia and just barely got them. Looks like they still have the 107th Ohio skirmishers and the 33rd Massachusetts skirmishers. And it looks like Heath is going to be actually supporting this attack onto the hill here. We have the 16th North Carolina and the 18th North Carolina under Lane actually pushing forward almost to the guns here. The guns actually had to be moved a little bit. You actually see we lost some of the guns on the hill here. So, but since Heath pulled off the attack on the right flank, 3rd Corps is able to shift more to the center. And Orr is just outstretched here and now almost surrounded. He is in a salient, much like Sickle was at Gettysburg. And if he does not retreat the salient, he will be broken. Heath is quickly trying to rally his men here, but it looks like it's going to be too little too late for Pender's division up here on this hill. The 22nd North Carolina rallied under Colonel James Connor, who is wounded. He is off the field for today. 5th Corps pushing back against the rest of Pender's division, trying to break the back of this salient. And it looks like 34th North Carolina Colonel William Lee Lawrence is also wounded for today. Is the officer alive in this? Nope. He's gone too, so they've lost all their officers over here. And the 1st South Carolina Rifles, Hayden, under Captain William M. Hayden and Perrin's brigade, have now lost well over 50% casualties. They're in the 70% casualties now. That is absolutely devastating for a unit. Yep, these guys are out at a little over 50% casualties, and these guys are going to rout at about 50% casualties. And the attack is finally being broken here due to it being personally routed by 11th Corps General Major General Oliver Howard. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say today. And the 7th North Carolina Turner is being forced to retreat. 1st South Carolina Provisional Army, it looks like they have lost the officer as well, who is Major Charles W. McCreary. And although initially broken, Howard was able to personally rally his troops around the guns, and 3rd Corps' reserve units were able to come up to support. Looks like Heath will give one more attack to 3rd Corps to try and relieve some of the pressure off Orr's, maybe for a organized retreat. They're coming right into a full volley from the 63rd Pennsylvania here under Major General A. Danks. I swear to God, some of these guys have meme names. 11th Mississippi under Davis. 55th North Carolina under Davis. The 2nd 55th North Carolina, so they had quite a bit of men at Gettysburg. Looks like they had 640 men. Wow. 26th North Carolina wounded all down the line, and Archer's brigade very weary here. As you can see that he's going to try, the 7th North Carolina Turner has rallied, but they're going to try and relieve that salient here that they are now trying to funnel back through. Looks like Thomas was also routed, but is now trying to gather his men here, but I'm trying to cut them off before they can link back up with the left flank of the newly reformed Heath's division here. I have some Candy's brigade, Ruger, and McDougal, so I'm all mixed up at this point in the battle just due to how much attrition my army has suffered. Looks like I had the 5th Connecticut that I ran up to the right flank earlier. I had Slocum personally lead him to try and fight off the 1st North Carolina and 1st Richmond mixed batteries of Napoleons that were hitting me very hard in the flank. I believe they actually, I sent another unit down to take care of it, and I believe they were routed, so I had to send a 2nd unit personally to go take out that battery. Again, trying to secure this major wood line here. Penders has formed successfully on the flank of Heath's, but is a weak form, and hopefully some of my volleys here can cause that to change. 7th North Carolina and the 18th North Carolina, both under Lane's brigade, desperately trying to get back to the lines, but the Union is hot on their tails. And it looks like, again, those volleys I wanted to get off would be able to route some of Scales' 22nd North Carolina and 16th North Carolina. But it looks like a majority of Pender's division will be able to successfully retreat. I will not be able to catch most of them as prisoners, unfortunately. But a lot of them will be able to successfully retreat out of that salient here. probably due to Heath's counterattack here. So Heath actually performing very well here on the flank. And although this 11th North Carolina is a little bit down, I think they'll actually, if sustained, might be able to win this. Is he dead? Is he dead? I think Danks is falling. I mean, Danks is falling on the field. And the flag bearer is still there, though. They've still not lost their colors. The 11th North Carolina, both battalions of it have lost its colors, and the 55th North Carolina from the right flank has come down, from the left flank has come down to his right flank. Colors and officer all in line. Colonel John K. Connolly is going to try and refuse this right flank from being broken. To refuse is to deny. So if I'm flanking you and you turn your flank, you have refused the flank. You've denied me flanking. So he's breaking this flank, but he refused the flank by supporting it. To refuse is to deny in Civil War talk. Usually means to angle or well, I guess it's the best way, angle you. So like if I was attacking here, this unit would then angle here and they're no longer being flanked. That I've refused that flank. 145th under Colonel L. Price, McDougal's Reserve Brigade. Looks like Price is gone. Price actually, I think Price was the one earlier we personally watched go down by the canister. Mudge, is Mudge alive? Mudge is wounded as well. No officer is safe in the Civil War. Oh, the officer's here. So actually, that's surprisingly one of Candy's brigade that is now suffered 50% casualties. 5th Ohio is Colonel John H. Patrick has survived the day but not his colors, unfortunately. Here's Weeds. One of Weeds battalions. Their officers going in this battalion. How about this battalion? Nope, it looks like Colonel Kenner Dorard, I don't know how to say that, is still on the field. So we have one general actually dead on the field, and his Orr's Rifles general, who was, who was his general? You have to go back and watch the replay. I don't know. I forgot who his general was. Who's this general over here? Pettigrew? James Pettigrew? So it looks like the 55th North Carolina lost in the charge against the 124th in New York due to army destruction. And it looks like Pettigrew is going to try and personally fight off these New York units here. But his general staff is going to try and persuade him to better to fall back. And he will. Pettigrew will get out of there for the day and live to fight another day. Looks like some of the units, the 26th North Carolina is trying to rally just due to them being elite units, but it's folly at this point. The attack is fully broken, but Heath has done his job and allowed actually my unit, my 5th Connecticut that routed out battery, took this road down here and is actually almost able to cut off the Confederate Army's retreat. Pretty impressive. I didn't even know I did that. I think there was a battery down here, that's why I did that. Alright boys, and here we are. What a fantastic battle. I love to be able to show this 1.7 version off to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, this is just the most realistic 1-to-1 scale of any Civil War game I've ever seen, that you can actually visualize an entire brigade man for man pixelated on, but it's like uber pixelated. It's an uber simulation. Anyways, let me get to the stats here. So we have pro new bleeding the 5th Corps. We deployed 3,400 men, losing 1,300, killing 1,800. We have Jess Davis holding our left flank down with 4,100 deployed, 1,100 lost, and 1,700 returned. Unsub, who held our center, got bloodied pretty hard with 3,700 deployed, 1,700 lost, and only 800 returned, but he had a hard job there in the center. Your boy Colefront himself on the 12th Corps had 3,900 deployed, 2,200 lost, and 2,600 returned. So I think, yeah, definitely had the highest losses on the field for today just due to how hard I was charged. Yeah, highest losses out of anybody on the field that day. I lost over 50% of my entire force, but also returning the most damage. Orr's Rifle here, 3,400 deployed under Penner's division, 2,100 lost and 22 returned. So best for his team because he got that breakthrough in the center. We have Oakwood, who led McClaw's division on the extreme left, had 3,000 deployed, 1,500 lost, and 1,100 returned. That was very good for the type of battle we had going on over there in the canister that he couldn't respond to. A Dark Chieftain, who was leading Pickett's division, had 2,800 deployed, 2,000 lost, and 1,600 returned. That's very good considering his position against that woodline there. So theoretically, he was fighting a 3-to-1 battle and was able to return 1,600, which is pretty good. And Tat under Heath's division, who was supporting Pinders, which allowed Ord to get those kills. Very good supporting role and allowed the army to be able to retreat successfully. He had 3,100 deployed, 1,600 lost, and 1,100 returned. In terms of specific unit kill rates here, the 2nd Massachusetts under the Ruger Reserve Brigade was able to return 308 kills, but not far behind the 5th Connecticut McDougal Reserve Brigade with 307. And Candy, actually, a lot of guys are very close up there. It kind of drops after the 304, 307. I mean 308, 307, 304, and then 265. Kind of weird there. So Dark Chieftain, who is on our Discord, who was actually playing under Pickett's division, posts casualty rates for us. So I'm gonna get you the casualty rates. So the Union Army had 43% casualty rates total. They deployed 15,000 men, lost 6,000 with a remainder of 8,000 men. The Confederate Army lost 58% casualties, woof, almost 60%. Deployed 12,000 men, lost 7,000, and only had 5,000 remaining. But that's how it was in the Civil War. Even major victories like this, it still goes 1-to-1. So we lost 6,000, they only lost 7,000. We have 8,000, they have 5,000. So those are two still very formidable fighting forces left between each other. That's just how it happened. And guys, I appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video if you want to see more of this stuff. And yeah, I will catch you on the next one. Can't wait for you guys to be able to play this version and enjoy it as well. Have a good day.